Bam to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Let's get it. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the 3 reasons why Bitcoin is still due for further Bitcoin price upside. So don't get it twisted. And quoting Jim Cramer, checking in with Larry Williams, the major top in Bitcoin major. Now, when we inverse Cramer, that ultimately means BTFD with the ultimate buy signal. You already know. We'll also be discussing the latest with the spot Bitcoin ETFs being approved and launched and what to expect next. Also breaking news, Vanguard users threaten to close accounts after the firm blocked spot Bitcoin ETFs alongside Bank of America and Merrill Lynch. We'll also be discussing Grayscale court decision was the key to the Bitcoin ETF approval, according to the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler. And quoting Gary from a recent interview, he says Bitcoin is a highly speculative, volatile asset used for illicit activity. Max Keiser translated it for us. Gary is Bitcoin's biatch. He involuntarily approved ETFs because the Bitcoin mine virus destroyed his brain. Preach. Also, Cathie Wood of ARK Invest issues a bullish alert, says the ETF approval has raised the probability of Bitcoin skyrocketing to $1.5 million per Bitcoin. I'll be breaking down her timeline. We'll also be discussing Max Keiser's latest interview with Wired. He shares why crypto ideologues will not touch Bitcoin ETFs. Quoting him here, he says, the ETFs will have a mosquito effect carrying the mine virus for Bitcoin far and wide. He also says regarding confiscation that the government will seize all the Bitcoin ETF BTC for national security. I'll be breaking this down for you. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. Welcome, crypto fam. What it do? Massive shout out to everyone in the live chat. Let me know if the stream is loud, clear, and smooth. Greatly appreciate it. As you can see, the market has been tanking this morning. We're currently hovering just above 43,500. Shout out to Jennifer, MJ, Carl Harris, Larry, Raven, Mario Sosa, Joey, Adam. What it do, fam? Shout out to Dankness. Shout out to the Coin Father. Shout out to Maximus. Shout out to our mods. Shout out to the official mascot of the show. You can see behind us, living his best life, the one and only Nipsey. Welcome, family. What it do, Jeff? We should still DCA. The fund companies will buy more Bitcoin. The long-term outlook is incredible. The next 4 to 12 weeks could be sideways and down. I am not ruling out a God candle, though. Send it. Raven says loud and clear. Appreciate it. Shout out to James Elsey watching at Detroit. Detroit, stand up. All the electronic billboards have ETF ads on them. That's what's up. Can't believe this was a little disappointed in the morning. JV Pump says Morton. Now we have the hype that has faded. The Johnny Chrome lately knows it's all gone. Thank God, says Chris. Thanks, JV. Shout out to you. Appreciate you, crypto son. What up, Paula G? Loud and clear. Love to hear it. Shout out to the Bitcoin cowboy. What it do? Is there still a 21,000 CME gap? Maybe, but those days are long gone. We're not anticipating any revisit into the 20s, family, that's for sure. Dollar cost average every day. You're speaking my language, Trend Watch. That's what's up. Cornwall, England in the building. Shout out to Fairground Fun Fairs UK. What it do? BS says, wish I had some spare cash, right? Great time to be taking advantage of this price action with Bitcoin down roughly $3,300 on the day. Load your bags and let's get it. Welcome, Tom. Here, whether the price up or down, welcome Frank the Tank, DGen, OG Backroad Crypto Bootleg. What it do? Shout out to Stress Free VIP. Mark P says Barcelona in the building. Waiting for that God candle, send it. Shout out to Spain, family. I remember visiting Montserrat and the Black Madonna going into the mountains was epic. I still got photos bringing back memories. ETF, what does that say? SHMETT ETF, zoom out, stay strong. Exactly. When in doubt, zoom out. You got that right, Tony Schroes. Yeah, remember the fiat system is slow and there's a lag, and also the Silk Road had 60,000 Bitcoin released last month. They can't play games forever. Amen, Chris. 100% on that. I'm keeping receipts for you doomers for now. That's what's up, Joey. Keep receipts. Shout out OG. What it do? Stacking when I can, says Jennifer. That's what's up. Todd Ferris, we got about 1,000 days before we're at a bottom again. Let's make this money. That's right. Now less than 100 days away from the Bitcoin halving, which is a major event occurring in 3 months in April. Let's not forget that. Bitcoin miners are on sale. That's the play, says Josh Hill. Shout out Josh. Retail is dumping on the institutional front hard. Yeah, for real, for real. Never farm, never pump equals Malaysia here. Cheers, Press Start Gaming. Appreciate your support. Like the smash, pump the likes, pump the stream. We greatly appreciate it, family. Matthew in the building. I think we pump over the weekend. I'm thinking the same, especially after a $3,300 dip. What do you guys think? Buy, hodl, and cold wallet. Smart man Frank. This guy Keiser comes off as a real nutter. Why do you give him so much credence? That's a great question, half Greek. I'm glad you asked that question because Max and Stacy via the Keiser report were the first to televise Bitcoin and give it international TV coverage back when it was trading between $1 and $10 per coin. Anyone who listened to Max and Stacy and purchased Bitcoin 13 years ago when no one else was preaching about it are now up over 20 million%. Also add to the fact he's been calling out Jamie the tapeworm Dimon, all the fudsters and all the corruption within Wall Street and the central banking cartels. He has been blowing the whistle on for decades. He even made a segment called Hang the Bankers. So if that doesn't deserve credence and clout, I don't know what does. To me, he is a prophet. What are your thoughts, fam? ETF, a flop, says Iggy. Omega, Keiser candle, send it. Let's go, Mark P. Upstate New York in the building. Shout out to Crypto Lucian. On sale, buy the dip, DCA hodl from New York. Salute. Appreciate you, family. What up, Barack Monfils Evangelista? Always a pleasure here. I love Mad Max. Grayscale has sold a lot of their Bitcoin holdings. Sucks for them. Baby Grok coin, baby Grok. Maybe a poll, how many years in jail for Gary? That'd actually be an excellent poll, family. Max and Stacy have been speaking truth and power for decades. Remember, buy silver, crash JP Morgan? Amen. No one threw JP Morgan Chase and Jamie the tapeworm Dimon under the bus more than Max Keiser. He should get credited whatever awards people get nowadays and on the world. Just be patient. Holy ish, up 20 million%. Yeah, for real, for real. 13 years, Bitcoin is now up over 20 million% in that ballpark, family. Not too shabby. Max is saying Bitcoin is gold because the US government took gold in the 1930s. Well, Bitcoin is superior to gold, and gold will eventually effectively go to zero against Bitcoin is more like it. But yes, they did seize gold back in 1933 via the Gold Seizure Act. We're going to be discussing that later. And government confiscates property and real estate all the time. So what makes you so safe that your precious Bitcoin ETF can't be confiscated in the name of national security? Because you can't trust the government. If you understand the government, they say know thy enemy. If you understand thy enemy, you'll know exactly where Max is coming from. Yeah, I mean, hope Max is a good security detail. What does that say, Adam? Max is one of the first people talking about Bitcoin fact. Fact. Give it a couple of weeks. Bitcoin will show its muscle. It'll be flexing like JV in the building on the pod. You already know. It's all going to zero against Bitcoin. In fact, let's see what Michael Saylor has to say about all this.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin.
And on my X account earlier, I shared a throwback Sailor from like 11 years ago talking about the Apple iPhone. What a giga chad he was even back then, family. You got to check it out. If you're not following me on X, be sure to follow me. 20 million%, you have my ear. What do I do to lose? What does that say? What do I have to lose for listening? Nada, right? The worst case scenario is Bitcoin continues to go up every cycle and you become wealthy. I mean, just saying. Sailor Moon, bring it. We have all been so stressed with the struggle too, so we're looking to find stress. That's right. Only keep in the bank what you're willing to lose. What up, JV? Loving the dip. Great opportunity to stack. Exactly, because when we were like approaching 50, let's not forget we just tapped 49. Everyone's like, I wish we can dump one more time so I can BTFD. Well, hallelujah, Satoshi, listen to you. Shout out Barack. We appreciate you gifting the MicroStrategy membership to James Elsey. Congrats, James. Show Barack some love. You have just been blessed. Chris says everyone thinks they will get rich on a particular date or event. It's not that easy, guys. Kramer told us to sell crypto on CNBC. Yeah, we're going to be covering that as well. We inverse this Kramer mofo 100% of the time. But anyways, family, we got a lot to cover. Keep the stream a pumping by pumping the like and keep the comments a flowing. It helps out tremendously with the stream. I greatly appreciate that. And happy 420. We got 420 people live on the stream on YouTube. And shout out to the Rumble fam as well. I greatly appreciate y'all's support. But without further ado, if you're new to the channel, be sure to smash that subscribe button to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. Also important to smash the like and hit the bell icon to turn on all notifications. It helps out tremendously with the stream, help get more eyeballs on the channel, helping with the YouTube algorithm. Greatly appreciate that. Today is pod episode number 1520. Let's go. Today is January 12th, 2024. And it just sounds so lovely just saying 2024, considering only 3 more months until the epic 2024 Bitcoin halving. Let's go. But anyways, let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Here you go. Give me a second to actually fix the screen capture. Sometimes it be acting up. 1 second, family. Let's fix that for you guys. Bada boom, bada bing. Here we go. There you go. Should be able to see now. Let me know, family. You can see Bitcoin is down 7% on the day, trading at roughly 43,700 at the time of this live stream, live and in the flesh. We got Ether only pulled back 1%, maintaining just under 2,600. We have Solana down 6%, trading at 95 bucks. We have AVAX down almost 9%. So extreme volatility as we were anticipating as the market continues correcting. And zooming out on the monthly, as you can see here, we still got Bitcoin up 5% on the month. And let's not forget, for the past year, Bitcoin is still up over 160%-ish. So don't forget that. Respect the pump. We also have Ether up almost 18%, BNB 18%, and Solana leading the pack up 39% on the monthly. And checking out coin market cap, we can see the market cap at 1.7 trillion with roughly 89 billion in volume for the past 24 hours. And Bitcoin dominance on the decline all the way back down to 50.1%, with the Ether dominance on the rise, clearly outpacing Bitcoin in the past 48 hours. ETH is now at 18.3% dominance. And 3 days ago, it touched the bottom at like 14.9. So it's up almost like 4 whole percent. That's pretty big. Now, checking out the top 100 crypto gainers of the past 24 hours, we got Sam token, FTT, up 19%, believe it or not, trading at $3.25, followed by Helium, up 15%, followed by Blur, followed by Su, Celestia, Ethereum name service, Optimism, and Litecoin. Now, which altcoins are you most bullish on for this bull run? Please do let me know, family, in the comments right down below. And checking out the crypto bubbles to get a visual perspective of the market. You can see HNT and FTT leading the pack. I would say roughly 92 out of the top 100 coins are correcting, bleeding, and in the red. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, yesterday we were in extreme greed at a 76, the highest we have been in quite some time. But today we're back down to a 71 in greed. Last week was a 72, and last month a 65 in greed. So there you have it, my crypto fam. Let me know how many of you are taking advantage of this dip. Let me know. Costa says, I still waiting that parabolic pump. Aren't we all? We're all waiting this Omega candle, God candle, Muhammad candle, Jesus candle, Buddha candle, Yahweh candle, Jehovah candle, JV candle. Typical that FTT is up and everything else is down. Very interesting, isn't it? My modest observation, digits go up. Yeah, Bitcoin got number go up technology, but that's over the long haul. That's why we got to zoom out for a broader perspective, because when you're too zoomed in, you can't truly understand what's going on. Bye, bye, bye. That's what's up, Brian. Dubai, all in. Shout out to Halil Asar. I appreciate your support there. To know what Bitcoin will probably do, look at what happened to Bitcoin that 4 months before the previous halvings. Bada boom, bada bing. Well said, Jeff. Cheers to that. Cardano and CRO, Barek is bullish on. Buy the dip, BTFD, sage advice. Silas says, me got no dry powder. So sad. Man, as soon as XRP goes to 60 cents, I am selling my bag and will buy more Say and Sue. Frank says, keep waiting for that candle. It will come when you don't expect it. That's right. Expect the unexpected. 100% will melt faces. Thomas says, down 7%. I was going to jump out of the window until I remembered I live in a 1-story. How high does the greed scale go? I believe it's out of 100, family. I don't think I've ever seen it that high, but I think it goes up that high. Correct me if I'm wrong, any TA experts. What up, everyone? What up, Jaws? Oh, yeah, that's right. Happy TGIF family. It is Friday. What up, JV? What up, Emilio? Are we going to get a weekend pump? What up? What do you guys think? Let me know. You may hate, but it ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye. Yeah. Buy the dip. Larry Pedro from Dothan, Alabama. No vendas tus Bitcoin. Appreciate you tuning in from Alabama. Larry, what it do? Yes, folks, this is live and interactive, so let me know where you're tuning in from. It makes the show that much more fun. Told you boys, when we're at 48,000, we would get a pullback to 43. Before we see 50G charts, the data never lie. You did say that, Todd, so kudos to you. Bitcoin to 50Gs this week. Send it, Joel. If you buy FTT, you're waiting to be dumped on, pretty much. XRP, $3.76 by April. Is that the all-time high, Mr. Hummingbird? Keep calm. Only 2 days in. Good point, Sebastian. Let the Hunger Games begin, and I'm hungry for that Bitcoin. Word up, Juan Romero, Pure Vita family. Max Keiser's always made sensational headlines that amount to nothing, says Richie. How dare you? In my Greta voice. Bite the cheese. What's the cheese? Future ETH ETFs. Pump it up. The song, it will be interesting to see what happens when the ETFs are not trading the first weekend. Imagine being stuck in XRP like these Sneeds in the chat. Love from Brington, UK. Shout out to the UK, Fox-based Delta. Appreciate you. San Antonio in the building. Tyler, welcome. Is that Texas family? FOMO from Phoenix. Love to hear it. Shout out Double B. What it do? Does that stand for double blunt? Let me know. ETFs are being banned. That's right. They're banning it. Vanguard, one of the largest asset managers in the world. I think it's the second largest next to BlackRock. Also Bank of America and Merrill Lynch. All are banning the Bitcoin ETF products, so we need to boycott those mofos. Hi from Florida. Tattoos and bulldogs. That's what's up. Laguna Beach in the building. Terran Squirt, welcome, welcome. I volunteered to tribute, says Jennifer. We don't need the ETFs to have Bitcoin smash in the 50 Gs in no time. Precisely. Bitcoin will do fine without it, even though we already have them, just FYI. Sneeds in the chat. Aren't you in the chat? Shout out Emilio. What it do? I've got a 9-year timeline in for the long run. That's right. I believe anyone holding Bitcoin should have at least a 2-cycle timeline horizon, which would ultimately mean 8 years. So right on the money, Emilio. GBTC providing sell pressure. The ETFs will start buying soon. Salam alaikum. Hobbies from Dubai. Shout out to my hobbies. Joel, we need another $1 trillion pump, 50 Gs, but is there a multiplier? Bro, can you tell us about the Bitcoin price situation when people start to realize that the Bitcoin halving will happen, the price will go up from now on? I mean, you got to look at the previous cycles. Typically the year of the halving, we hit a new all-time high, and the year preceding the halving, we hit the cycle peak of the cycle. Just like we witnessed in 2016, there was a halving. The following year, 2017, Bitcoin shot up to roughly 20,000, which marked the new top. And then like deja vu, 4 years later from 2016, 2020, another halving. And then we jumped all the way up in 2021. We jumped from 16,000 to 69,000, the current all-time high. I would expect nothing different this cycle. The only potential difference is we may peak out in 2024 if the 4-year cycle doesn't remain intact with the year preceding the halving hitting the peak. But if history is to rhyme, that tells us 2025 all-time high, typically adding a 0 to the price action every 4-year cycle. There you go. JV is right. 2 Bitcoin cycles, you'll be doing very well. Amen, Chris. That's the name of the game. This is the long-term hodl because Bitcoin is savings. You know what I mean? You want to save money that's going to appreciate over the long haul. There's no better savings account or insurance policy than Bitcoin, as Cathie would say. Bitcoin is down, not up, my friends. It's down 50% from the all-time highs. Well, not that much. You're exaggerating there, family. Because then it would mean the Bitcoin top was 86,000, in which it was 69. Exaggeration. But let's not forget, Bitcoin is still up over 20 million% for the past 13 years. If you want to look at it that way, zoom out, big dog. All I need is one of those cozy Tesla houses. Do they have their own houses now? Is deja vu's all over again. Pretty much, Bernie. Some people will never learn. Shout out Paula G, Hodl, and Cole Wallet. You already know. But anyways, let's now break down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. Keep the comments a-coming. Pump the likes to pump the stream. We greatly appreciate that. This headline reads, 3 reasons why Bitcoin is still due for further Bitcoin price upside. It's not all doom and gloom. So here's some bullish sentiment. Bitcoin briefly saw new 2023 highs this week, but ultimately failed to break out of the range. We did tap roughly 49,000 49,000. I was anticipating hitting 50, but 49 is the current top, just FYI. So here are the three factors on why you should be bullish right now. The Bitcoin price daily bull flag points higher as the US spot Bitcoin ETFs had their first day of trading. I think they did roughly 4.5 billion in volume, which broke all records for ETFs, by the way. In turn, it went up nearly 3,000 and then down even more. While initially promising, Bitcoin ultimately lacked the momentum needed to beat out the sell side pressure as it neared the 50G mark for the first time since December of 2021. That's right. So the new high is in at 49,000 for the past 22 months. But guess what? 2024 is just getting started. That said, with the January 11th daily candle close, Bitcoin did manage to preserve its bullish structure, according to popular trader and social media commentator Alan Terregrade. And he shared, noting that Bitcoin's now in a bull flag structure within an overall uptrend, which is a classic consolidation process, quoting him here alongside the chart. Latest candle keeps within the bull flag, waiting for breakout. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. And equally indicative of a classic bull market's early stages is Bitcoin's market cap dominance. As reported, Bitcoin was the first mover last year, now relinquishing its share of the crypto market cap to the major alts as the market cap just dropped back down close to 50%, as I mentioned earlier. And quoting this analyst here, trader, a nice head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin's dominance has been spotted by Matthew Hyland for days. The chart comparison here explains to you how bearish the Bitcoin dominance and how bullish the Ethereum dominance are. Please note that both the horizontal support resistance zone on the Bitcoin dominance and descending, and ultimately just breaking down this chart, which we know the Ether dominance is on the rise after bottoming out at roughly 14.9% 3 days ago. Now, the next bullish factor, funding rates reset as open interest simmers, laying the foundations for sustainable Bitcoin price gains. Derivative markets remain neutral compared to the recent weeks. Data from CoinGlass shows that a broad reset has occurred on the funding rates across the exchanges despite Bitcoin's upside progress. The largest exchange, Binance, now had neutral funding on Bitcoin at the time of this article, in line with the OKX and Bybit exchanges. Meanwhile, the open interest, while elevated, is now below levels seen in early December when Bitcoin first entered its current trading range. Now, high levels of open interest have preceded several major flushes in the recent weeks, during which a snap price dip unwinds large numbers of positions. Analyzing the trend on ETF approval day, which was 2 days ago, then we had the launch officially yesterday, on-chain analytics firm Glassnode noted the increasing dominance of the CME group as a portion of the overall open interest. Quoting them here, this indicates a growing presence of institutional investors within the derivative space. Now for the third factor why you should be bullish on the king. Do not fear the Bitcoin supply squeeze. The notion that U.S. institutions now have carte blanche to engage in Bitcoin exposure has some wondering about the long-term supply impact. Now with its finite supply, not infinite, that's Ethereum. That's right. If you look on CoinMarketCap and you look at the max supply, it'll show you the infinity signal. With Bitcoin, we know we have a 21 million finite limited supply. Now, proponents predict that this will merely push the price up to the benefit of existing hodlers, and some are concerned about an increasing illiquid market. Quoting Daniel Roberts, the CEO and founder of Bitcoin miner Iris Energy, there is a major issue with Bitcoin ETFs, which few are acknowledging, he warned. Quoting him again, we have never had an ETF where the underlying asset has a limited supply. If ETFs buy the 30% of the available Bitcoin, or those hodlers also refuse to sell, then we have a major problem. Can you say supply shock? Now, responding, some of Bitcoin's household names, including Adam Back, the Blockstream CEO, were as unfazed as ever, which I'd expect nothing less from him. There is no problem, he shared. And someone else said, numbers go up. We know Bitcoin has number go up technology. Now, here's the ultimate buy signal, family. Jim Cramer tweeted January 12th, which is today at 10:14 a.m. Already almost 2 million views. Checking in with Larry Williams, the major top in Bitcoin, or major top in Bitcoin. Major. Ultimately, spreading FUD to convince the investors to sell and dump their Bitcoin bags. But we all know we inverse this mofo. So here's what I wrote. We just got our next major Bitcoin BTFD buy signal, fam. Salute. Hashtag inverse Kramer. So there you have it, family. Let me know your thoughts. And thank you, Mr. Kramer, for the buy signal. You got a link, cool cat. A link to what, big dog? XEC eCash, says Suresh. About the XEC cash, it'll blow out. I don't know what you mean by that. None of you make 200,000 on Ishcoin, says Get Ready XRP fam. Supply shock to the moon, says Jennifer. That means we lose our biddies. XRP high, 58 cents. 81% have fun in your shat coins needs. 2 people own all the Bitcoin. Do your research. How do you figure? Where do you get that knowledge from? Who are the 2 people? We know Satoshi's wallets have 1.1 million Bitcoin, but guess what? They haven't moved since the inception of Bitcoin, and I don't think they're ever going to move. What do you guys think? I think the second largest hodler of Bitcoin next to Satoshi is Max Keiser. What do you guys think? And on paper, the largest institution is Grayscale. They have 620,000 BTC. MicroStrategy has close to 200,000 BTC and controls 0.9% of the Bitcoin supply. Their goal is to control 5% of the Bitcoin supply, which would mean they need 1 million or so Bitcoin. So supply shock, send it. I bought Kramer's Bitcoin, says Double B. GBTC owners are selling and moving to other spot ETFs with lower fees. That's right. I think Grayscale's fees are the highest at 1.5%. XEC eCash is having on the way. Okay, it's another altcoin. I'm not familiar with that. Sweet, I own all the Bitcoin, morons. Tracy Meyer has more Bitcoin than, oh yeah, he got in before him. Could be there. Sailor has more than Max. No freaking way. There's no way. Sailor got in 2020. Max got in at 2011, was already a millionaire before he got in, and he went all in on Bitcoin in 2011. So let that sink in. So the Giga Chad is buying Bitcoin up at $20, $30, $40, $50,000. Max was buying it up at, $10 or less. So keep that in mind. JV, isn't there more 2 or 3 mil Bitcoin lost forever? Precisely. They estimate it could be as much as 4 million Bitcoin, which gives us all a raise, which means there'll never be 21 million Bitcoin in circulation. It'll probably be closer to 15 to potentially as high as 18 million. But I'm thinking more on the lower side because every year people lose more and more Bitcoin. People pass unexpected events and stuff like that. Hopefully we have bottomed. I think so, family. 43.8 right now. Bitcoin starting to move back up. I hope for a weekend pump. What do you guys think? Let me know.
Bitcoin. What's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset.
How's El Salvador doing? They're doing just fine, Tyler. Anyone here in El Salvador, let us know. We appreciate that as well. Why are people down on Grayscale? Yes, the fee is high, but when you're up 90%, GBTC 59%, something, I can handle the 2% fee. Right on, Steve. So you're happy with your Grayscale investment. We pumping. We got to thank GBTC and Grayscale because if it wasn't for their lawsuit against the SEC, Gary would have never approved the ETFs. We're going to be discussing that here in a bit. They only approved it because they had to, thanks to that lawsuit. So keep that in mind. Not selling my GBTC because I would have huge capital gains tax. Completely understand. People need to buy and self-storage. Amen. Self-custody, remove your crypto from the exchanges. Max is a time traveler. I think so too. Must be an old soul. There's no second best podcast. Thank you, Jennifer. The Department of Justice owns a ton. That's right. Maybe they're going to be colluding with BlackRock because they say government and BlackRock are kind of one and the same. Bitcoin price still hasn't broken my stop loss. This is great. Trying to play the players. Well, kudos to you, man. Play those players. El Salvador is here. Javier, Kodo, appreciate you, family. XRP is number 2. You're just a maxi. That's okay. You be you. That's your opinion there, Joe. I don't think there is a second best. But just saying. Bitcoin isn't hitting 100K. Well, you got to think completely different technologies. We want to keep it 100. XRP is a bridge currency to be used for the central bank digital currencies. So I'm not a fan of it, just keeping it 100 because I'm for decentralization, freedom, sovereignty. XRP equals centralized, tyranny, programmable money that they can program with an expiration date that will enslave humanity. So, you know what I mean? Pick a side. It's all good. Bobby Digi, what it do? Just a reminder, XRP's $3.30 high to 58 cent crash, 81% loss. in your Shaq coins needs. Joey, I have 20x on Solana. Are you really trading with 20x leverage, fam? Or are you up 20x? Waiting for the weekend pump. Someone is buying up when it gets around 43.1. You know, Saylor's always buying. Saylor announced he's buying a personal stash of Bitcoin every day for the next 4 months. He's selling a little bit of MicroStrategy shares and buying Bitcoin every single day for the next 4 months. Let that sink in. Loving the Omega candle, says the Strict Life. What it do? Tell him, JB. Cheers, Frank. We find out in time that we have to agree. XRP, not centralized, not true. Ugh. How do you figure it's not centralized? Also, there's attack vectors. Why do you think the price has been suppressed for the past 3-4 years? Because they went after Ripple Labs. There's no one to go after with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that will have the clarity. You know what I mean? XRP kind of has the clarity, but at the same time, they still got to pay off the SEC, whatever hundreds of millions of dollars they're shaking them down for. Guess what? The SEC cannot shake down Satoshi. Just keeping it real. Hey, bro, I stumbled upon, never heard of it. Slowly but firmly, we're back up. You already know, Mark. I really think these people saying Bitcoin isn't going to do anything should get their heads examined, maybe do a little research and check out the charts for the last 10 years. The charts don't lie. Well said, Corey. Saylor buying Bitcoin to give it away, 2x? Oh, hell no. You know that's a scam. For anyone who doesn't know, it's the oldest scam. It's been going on since I first discovered crypto. They have fake videos of influencers. It don't matter if it's Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of XRP, or Michael Saylor, or even the CEO of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. You'll find them out there. Send me your Bitcoin and I'll double it. Yeah, buddy. Good luck with that one. And correct, XRP is a banker's coin. Fact, daddy-o. But anyways, let's dive into our next story of the day. We broke down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. Now we want to discuss the launch of the ETF, which was officially yesterday. Let's check out how it's going and what's likely next after this launch. January 9th, the US SEC scrambled as it tried to recover from an erroneous tweet announcing the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF. This left many members of the crypto community on pins and needles, and y'all remember how it went down. It was a fake out. Do you think that fake out was intelligently designed or just a mishap? Let me know your thoughts. And do you think their account was really compromised, or is he just Gary, that is, covering his own arse? Let me know. Now, new opportunities for retail investors. Professor of Law and Associate Dean at Vanderbilt Law School shared that the introduction of the spot Bitcoin ETF holds enormous significance for the crypto and financial markets. Quoting her here, most immediately, it'll provide a way for everyday mom and pop investors to safely gain exposure to Bitcoin. ETFs are a well-regulated, retail-friendly product. This should mean that via the spot Bitcoin ETF, crypto markets are likely to become a lot more accessible to investors who might otherwise have stayed well away from participating in a much less regulated crypto market. And this may be the case as the securities regulator approved 11 Bitcoin ETFs on January 10th, including 19 B4 apps from highly credible institutional players, the big guys, Grayscale, BlackRock, Fidelity, WisdomTree, Valkyrie, amongst others. Now, Leah Wall, CEO of Valkyrie, shared that Valkyrie's spot Bitcoin ETF will be available to U.S. investors through their brokerage or investment accounts. Any investor will be able to purchase shares of our ETF, which will be available for trading on the NASDAQ. Now, Wald added that Valkyrie is anticipating upwards of $400 million in assets to flow into the ETF during the first few weeks of trading, quoting them here. We think we'll see billions in assets flow into the ETFs over the first month alone. Many investors have been waiting on the sidelines for products like this. And quoting the ETF analyst expert, Balchunas, almost a good hour after this tweet, and the number still isn't 2.3 billion, but we ended the day at roughly 4.5 billion worth of inflows, family. And while it's too early to accurately predict the performance of the newly launched spot Bitcoin ETFs, we have Alex Tapscott, author and managing director of 9 Point Digital Asset Group. He shared there may be similarities between US spot Bitcoin ETFs and Canadian spot Bitcoin ETFs. For reference, Canada gave the green light for the first spot Bitcoin ETF back in 2021. And I think a month later, we hit our all-time high in November. And according to Tap Scott, 9 Point Digital Asset Group launched the spot Bitcoin ETF in Canada back in May of 2021. He said that the Purpose Investments was the first fund to launch the spot Bitcoin ETF in the region, adding that the firm claims to have brought in over $1 billion in assets within the first month. Quoting him here, this is an important data point to consider because the US crypto market is 10 to 20 times bigger than the Canada market. He makes a good point. Yet while retail investors may benefit from the spot Bitcoin ETF in the US, some believe institutions may not be as enthusiastic. Canadian venture capitalist and everyone's least favorite shark on Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, aka Not So Mr. Wonderful, he shared, "Personally, I would never use an ETF. Why would I pay those fees? I mean, it's a ridiculous cost that is not needed, particularly with an asset that is a total commodity. In the case of Bitcoin, well, I must give him some kudos here. He actually said something for the first time I actually agree with. I say noted the Bitcoin ETFs, if you have the opportunity to just self-custody the underlying asset, because we have to keep in mind that Bitcoin ETF is not equivalent to Bitcoin. Hopefully you understand the difference between the two, fam, because not your keys, not your coins. However, some experts beg to differ. Analyst James Seyfarth shared that the institutions might use the spot Bitcoin ETF. If they want Bitcoin exposure, the spot ETF will be their vehicle of choice, but this may take some time before that happens. Now, will a spot Ether ETF be next? Let's discuss it. In addition to retail adoption, predictions around the eventual approval of an Ether ETF are also in circulation. Tap Scott noted that the spot Ether ETFs were approved shortly after the spot Bitcoin ETFs in Canada. Quoting him here, after Canadian regulators approved the spot Bitcoin ETFs, there was not a good reason for them not to approve spot Ether ETFs. Keep in mind, though, that the market for Ether is smaller than Bitcoin, and as a result, there will likely be a meaningful demand and significant impact on the price of Ethereum. Now, greater acceptance of blockchain tech. He also said that blockchain tech will likely gain wider acceptance amid the buzz Bitcoin ETF approval, which has created around the price of Bitcoin. Quoting him again, everyone interested and involved in the crypto market will become educated about the blockchain tech. This will serve as an awakening for most people around the potential for digital assets and blockchain to transform finance and other industries. And echoing this, we had Kurt Hemmecker, CEO of the Mina Foundation, the nonprofit organization supporting the Mina protocol. He shared that he believes this event creates new opportunities that people may not immediately identify. For example, he noted that the spot Bitcoin ETF approval could potentially result in a major boom for zero-knowledge focused projects. Quoting him here, bringing added legitimacy in the eyes of the mainstream players. The approval may lead to not just an influx of investments, but also increased adoption. Zero-knowledge blockchains distinguished by their ability to enable enhanced levels of control over data, and in other words, data sovereignty, will stand out to this growing segment of the market that values data sovereignty and security highly. Now, the challenges to consider, although many positive aspects may be associated with the newly approved spot Bitcoin ETFs here in the US, there may also be some downsides. For instance, Boring explained that the counterparty risk will likely increase. Investing in a spot Bitcoin ETF introduces counterparty risk. Investors rely on the ETF issuer to accurately track the performance of the underlying asset. If the issuer encounters financial difficulties or mismanages the fund, it could impact the ETF's value and the investor's return. Also, as we're going to be covering later on in the show, there's a counterparty risk of confiscation. Government is notorious for confiscating your wealth, so we'll be discussing that a little later. Boring added that the market price versus the net asset value of Bitcoin may be impacted. Quoting him again, ETF shares are traded on public exchanges, and their market price can deviate from the fund's net asset value. The price dislocation could introduce arbitrage opportunities, but may also lead to unexpected trading costs for investors. Now, all the ETFs have different fees. The largest we know right now is with Grayscale at 1.5%, and I think it's ARK 21 shares, like roughly 0.2% or 0.19%, and there's another one lower than 0.25%. So we also have what's called game theory in full effect as all these asset managers are competing to gain market share in their ETFs. And also we have the ETF commercial wars going on. It seems every day there is a new ad being released, which is just going to hype up Bitcoin even more. So you already know. What up, Cathie? Emilio says, get ready for the BlackRock needs to buy Bitcoin to seed their ETF. Let's go. If people paid on the exchanges, the prices would be lower than over 100K. That's how you pay the bills with the higher Bitcoin prices. Shit out on Matrix. Steve says, exactly, Bernie. Bernie says, I'm holding 60,000 in Grayscale's ETHE fund, waiting for the spot ETF approval in 6 months. Oh, referring to the Ethereum approval. I think the regulators now have a deadline. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard May. It got pushed back to. Let me know. Mad Max for the win always. BlackRock and all the others are going down, and they can do crash Bitcoin to zero. That's when we're all going to go. I don't understand that. What up, Todd Ferris? Shout out Todd. He just gifted 5 MicroStrategy memberships to the channel. Fredo, New York City. Tennessee Ecoman, Texas Champ. That Callis Addison and Volted Mark, you've all been blessed with a membership, so please do show Todd Ferris some love. What makes our community and channel so incredible is you guys. We have the most giving, active community, and I'm feeling blessed. We just launched memberships roughly 30 days ago. We already have close to 600 members, and I would guess over 400 of them have been gifted everyday gifts. And I love it, so keep it coming. Much respect, family. Yes, Kira Ora from New Zealand in the building. Shout out Dave Ball, appreciate you as well. J Baby, we need 35 G's before the next leg higher to the all-time high. It's healthy, let's go. Keep the faith, that's right. Oh, thee of little faith. Quoting Jesus, if you already paid the fees in GBTC prior to the ETF approval, doesn't make sense to sell them to buy a different ETF. In my opinion, Emilio, people other than the spot. Wow, and I love it because now we got so many comments coming in, I can't keep up. Keep them a-flowing. We got almost 1,000 people already on the stream. We just surpassed 800. Let's go. Pump the likes to pump the stream. I guarantee you it's going to be lit, as each and every pod episode is. This is pod episode number 1520. I've been going strong here for 5 freaking years. Every day, 7 days a week, Fridays, stacking Saturdays, holidays, you name it. Stacking Bitcoin is like doing crack. Remind me of that Chappelle skit. God bless all. Amen. Buy in a good way, says Emilio. Going to grab a burger, catch it tonight. Cheers, Joey. Enjoy the burger. They can crash it, but it doesn't go up and sell the crash if you do not. This dip has come just in time. My loan for my 401k. Congratulations, Matthew. God works in mysterious ways. So count that as a blessing. Well done. Put your lighters in the air. I appreciate that. Ernest Elmore, thanks for subbing to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. The Digital Wealth Pod just shared there is no need for them to buy Bitcoin if the general public isn't interested in the ETF. Greatly appreciate your super and insights. Loud and clear from England. Thank you, Sea-Dog. Even if they seize all the ETF Bitcoin holdings, there are still 15 million in private hands. Amen to that. And hallelujah. Long live the long-term hodlers. Never give up your biddies to Wall Street. Never give up your biddies to anybody. Self-custody is the future. Protect your freedom. Protect your sovereignty, because we can't trust these mofos at the top. 420 all day from Colorado. Make that fire. Amen, K-Jam. Shout out to the Rocky Mountain High out there. I feel stellar. Could be a hidden gem. XLM, right? What up, Steve? Shout out to the Hodl Gang. Appreciate it, family. Let's freaking go. 1883. Keep waiting. Word, Emilio. I appreciate you joining the Hodl Gang. Shout out to all our Hodl Gang members. Make them pay the correct price. Never sell your Bitcoin. Hey, JV, tomorrow is 15,000 days to me being on this earth. Wow, I never calculated how many days I've been on this earth. I turn 41 in February. So how many days is that? It just sounds epic. 15,000 days on earth. God bless you. Wishing you another 15,000 days of success, Matt Baker. Hodl Gang, ETH equals 2450. Is ETH pumping right now? Australia's Bitcoin is bullish, and Bitcoin's hitting all-time highs right now as price action in countries all around the world as hyperinflation continues. Thanks again, Digital Wealth. I appreciate your super family. You guys are too kind. Hodl fam in the building. Make some noise. Let's freaking go. Omega Candle. Send it. But anyways, fam, we still got a lot to cover. So let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss these mofos over at Vanguard who don't want no part of Bitcoin ETFs. They will not allow their clients or customers to touch it. Why is that? Let's break it down, family. This is the old money. This is the oligarchs. You know what I mean? The second largest asset manager in the world. Let's break it down. Asset manager Vanguard's apparent decision not to allow the purchase of spot Bitcoin ETFs on its platform has seemingly pushed a few customers towards the exit door. That's right. If you're in there, I would exit as well. You know what I mean? According to a January 11th report for the Wall Street Journal, Vanguard said it won't offer the new spot Bitcoin ETFs on its brokerage platform. And I can't confirm this. I'm thinking off of my collective memory here, but I think one time someone from Vanguard reached out to me and told me not to mention their name alongside Bitcoin. And I've never received a random email like that from any asset management group before. And it left me boggled because all I was doing was quoting a Michael Saylor quote. And Michael Saylor was saying something like, all the asset managers, BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard are going to be launching ETFs. And now that I think about it, they reached out to me and said, this is false information. We don't support Bitcoin. We don't want you mentioning our name on your podcast. So F you guys. I mean, serious and for real, for real. And now it all makes sense. They're anti-Bitcoin. These are the old money oligarchs and gatekeepers of the financial system. Now it all makes sense. Anyways, spotting them here. Spot Bitcoin ETFs will not be available for purchase on the Vanguard platform, said the company in a statement to the Wall Street Journal. We also have no plans to offer Vanguard Bitcoin ETFs or other crypto-related products. Our perspective is that these products do not align with our offer focused on asset classes such as equities, bonds, and cash, which Vanguard views as a building block of a well-balanced long-term investment portfolio. Vanguard wasn't amongst the 14 issuers to apply for the spot Bitcoin ETF in 2023. Some investors have seen its recent moves as a reason to move their funds to other platforms. Good for them. I say boycott them because they don't support the hardest money not to be F with. You want freedom and sovereignty, you want Bitcoin. If you want slavery, keep by all means in the financial legacy system, which would be Vanguard. Now, one apparent Vanguard customer, Tony Spencer, claims a spokesperson told him that Vanguard isn't allowing spot Bitcoin ETFs for purchase because the product doesn't fit with Vanguard's investment philosophy, which ultimately means freedom and sovereignty is not in our moral. It's not a part of our moral code. We prefer tyranny, is what they're ultimately saying. Spencer also claims Vanguard only allows investors to sell the Grayscale flagship Bitcoin product, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So you can only sell it, you can't buy it, which was recently converted into the spot ETF. And quoting Eleanor Terrett, new Vanguard Group, the world's second largest asset manager behind BlackRock, is reportedly blocking customers from buying into the new Bitcoin spot ETFs, saying the products don't fit with Vanguard's investment philosophy. So yeah, now we know what's up. Coinbase senior engineer and manager Yuga Kohler was amongst others who said he'll be converting his Roth 401k savings at Vanguard to Fidelity. Good for him, which issued one of the 10 spot Bitcoin ETFs at launch on January 11th. Why support your oppressors is the million-dollar question of the day. And that goes for the banking cartels as well, like Jamie Dimon's JP Morgan Chase. They don't support Bitcoin. They FUD Bitcoin. They do everything in their power to try to destroy it, which we know, thank God, it can't be destroyed. But why support them? I say borrow as much money from their corrupt banking cartels as possible and buy Bitcoin and launch a speculative attack, just like Saylor did. Now, Vanguard's paternalistic blocking of Bitcoin ETFs does not fit in with my investment philosophy, they added. Bitcoin commentators Neil Jacobs said he is also in the process of transferring funds out of Vanguard in response to the reported decision, quoting him here, terrible business decision by Vanguard. Let me know your thoughts on that, family. Now, customers of investment firm Citi, Merrill Lynch, Edward Jones, and UBS reported they're also unable to purchase spot Bitcoin ETFs on those respective platforms, according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, USB is considering unsolicited offers from prospective spot Bitcoin ETF investors and is making assessments on a case-to-case basis. It is also understood that some of the 10 approved spot Bitcoin ETFs on the platform, but not all. Meanwhile, a Citi spokesperson said that a spot Bitcoin ETF is already available for its institutional client base, and the firm is evaluating the products for its individual wealth clients. Now, Merrill Lynch is reportedly wanting to see whether the spot Bitcoin ETFs trade efficiently before deciding to offer the purchase of Bitcoin products, is what they told Fox Business. Meanwhile, spot trading was accessible on JP Morgan's brokerage firm, JP Morgan, Morgan and an authorized participant of the BlackRock iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF. However, the Jamie Dimon, aka Jamie Dimon-led bank, has shared a risk disclosure to prospective investors considering placing a trade order, according to screenshots shared by Dan McArdle, co-founder of blockchain intelligence platform Masari. And quoting Balchunas, Bitcoin ETFs are like rap albums in the late 80s. Vanguard won't even carry them. And here, JP Morgan slapping a parental advisory label on iBit. And quoting Dan McArdle, JP Morgan interface throwing this warning when you try to buy BlackRock's iBit Bitcoin ETF. We get it. JP Morgan, the boss, hates Bitcoin for political reasons, but you are also named as an authorized participant in BlackRock's offering. So just accept your fate already. Such hypocrisy, isn't it? The first day of trading came January 10th after the long-awaited approval. Spot ETF trading volume top 4.5 billion, as I mentioned a little earlier. So there you have it, family. What do you think about BlackRock, Bank of America, and all these juggernauts ultimately not allowing customers to touch these Bitcoin ETFs, even though you can get them everywhere else? Do you think they'll eventually go out of business? Do you think eventually they'll capitulate? Let me know your thoughts. Crazy certain org names get shadow banned. You already know, Jack. Let's freaking go. Low tech, what it do? Welcome everyone just joining the stream. Pump the likes, pump the stream. Let's get this mofo lit. Now that I own Bitcoin, do I have to do illegal activities? Yeah, according to Jamie Dimon and Gary Gensler, Bitcoin's only used for illicit activities. These mofos. JB, so Vanguard wasn't one of the ETF, correct. They weren't one of the applicants. It was always included in the mainstream news, correct. Even Saylor was talking about, it being adopted by Vanguard. I guess Saylor was just assuming because, like I said, Vanguard personally reached out to me through email, which is unheard of. Like, who am I? I'm just a little podcaster doing my thing on YouTube. And it's like, don't mention our name. Like, for real? F you guys. I can mention anyone's name I want. I was just reading a quote from Michael Saylor. They said, don't read our name in your podcast. I'm like, get out of here. For real, for real? So that's how much they hate it. They don't even want JV mentioning their name next to Bitcoin. Ain't that some ish? And all I was doing was quoting the the great Giga Chad himself.
Right? There's no second best, okay? But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin.
You already know. They will capitulate because there's no resistance to be inevitable. Yeah, I feel Bitcoin, obviously a massive disruptor along with blockchain tech. And if they don't adapt, they'll be left behind. They'll come around. Give it some time. Time to hear Saylor naming the second best. BlackRock needs your parents to invest their 401k. You see, Larry Fink is making the rounds. We're going to be doing a react session to it exclusively on Rumble for the after party. I have a clip from Larry Fink making the rounds, pumping Bitcoin. Also, the latest from Jack Mallers on the mainstream news. And I got some other clips as well lined up for you guys later. We're going to be doing some reacts to it. Say whatever you want because you're an American. There you go. Whatever happened to freedom of speech? The First Amendment. They're trying to take that away, clearly. You know what I mean? Matrix, the big dogs want all the Bitcoin. It's like Hampton's mansion. It's not meant for the little people anymore. There you go. Vanguard supports cigarette stocks. Yucko. There you go. They support population control and eugenics. Flat out. Vanguard taking a stand, the wrong stand, but at least the CEO has opinions, even if their entire company knows it's wrong. There you go. Nobody loves new money except for new money because you're is that an American AM? What up, fellow degens? Shout out to the crypto dad. Where the crypto mom at? Yeah, they're protecting their legacy financial system, apparently. You know what I mean? Michael Saylor slipped up and he liked the big block size Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't have big blocks. BSV does, says Cool Cat Crypto. I see you're pumping Satoshi Vision. Bitcoin is only useful for betting on the price, not digital cash, says A Hammer. Fear is one of the worst. Here's why Bitcoin is valuable to me, unconfiscatable, incorruptible, borderless, decentralized. Just those factors alone, there's probably another couple dozen factors I can rattle off the top of my mind, but just those alone, the fact that it's unconfiscatable, decentralized, and there's a finite limited supply, right? Game changer. That's all anyone ever needs. It's perfect money, right? It's hard money which cannot be effed with. For real, for real. Have a feeling your channel is going to grow greatly. Greatly appreciate the support, Steve. They want to protect their currency, the dollar. Exactly. They're protecting the dollar because Bitcoin undermines the dollar and severs the head of the central banking cartels they're protecting. You already know. The best place to buy cold storage wallet directly from the manufacturer. For example, Trezor, you would go to trezor.io, which is their official website. If you want to buy whatever, a cold card wallet, go to their official website. Don't buy it from a third party. It could be tampered with. I can't stress that enough. Very few ish coins in my portfolio, only 1%. Smart man, Hellcat. Smart man. There's a lot of degens here who are 100% ish coins and 0 Bitcoin, and I'll never understand that. I am all in. I can't buy the dip anymore. Good. Congrats on being all in. Welcome to the club. Thank you. Ian Brown, shout out for subbing. I appreciate you subbing to the #1 Daily Bitcoin Pod. We still got a lot to cover, so let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss the latest Gary Gensler Bitcoin FUD making the rounds right now. We'll start here with this tweet. Watcher Guru shared this just in. Gary Gensler says Bitcoin is a highly speculative, volatile asset used for illicit activity. So even after approving the spot Bitcoin ETFs, they're still fudding it. So it just goes to show you how threatened these mofos truly are about Bitcoin. Now, Max translated this for us. Thank you, Max. Gary is Bitcoin's biatch. He involuntarily approved ETFs because the Bitcoin mine virus destroyed his brain. Preach, Max. That's why I love Max so much. Anyways, Gensler, chairman of the SEC, acknowledged on January 12th that Grayscale's court victory was crucial in approving spot Bitcoin ETFs, which we all know, breaking news all over the mainstream. And although the SEC has denied several apps for a similar product since 2013, Gensler said during an interview with CNBC's Squawk Box that the court decision in favor of asset manager Grayscale in August of last year changed the SEC's perspective over the crypto investment vehicle. That's why we got to give credit to Grayscale, because if it wasn't for them and their lawsuit versus the SEC, we wouldn't have a spot ETF today. Now, quoting chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler.
We have disapproved a number of these applications for a spot Bitcoin ETF over the years, and something had changed. I'm a deep believer in the rule of law and respect for the courts, and taking a new court decision into consideration, we move forward. I think this is the most sustainable path forward.
There's the FUD directly from the worm himself. And despite the go-ahead, Gensler reiterated that the approval was not an endorsement of Bitcoin. Quoting him here.
We do not endorse Bitcoin.
And we don't endorse Gary Gensler. I sure as hell don't endorse this mofo. If you'd like to see Gary replaced and fired, put a big fat 1 in the live chat, family. Let's see. Now, in June of 2022, the SEC denied Grayscale's app for the conversion of its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, into the spot Bitcoin ETF on the grounds that the product was not designed to prevent fraudulent and manipulative acts and practices. In response, Grayscale filed a petition for review with the US Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. The petition resulted in a significant victory for Grayscale August 29th of last year, when the court ruled in favor of Grayscale, ordering that the SEC's legal ground for denying was insufficient and that the case should return to the commission for review. The legal battle proved that the worthwhile, or being very worthwhile for the entire industry, not just Grayscale, the SEC gave its blessing to 10 ETF holdings of Bitcoin as their underlying assets as of January 10th. The inaugural trading session was marked by significant activity, with Grayscale's GBTC accounting for $2.3 billion in trading volume, almost half of the overall $4.5 billion volume on the day, according to data from Yahoo Finance. Meanwhile, BlackRock's iShare Bitcoin Trust ranked second with a trading volume of roughly $1 billion. And also speaking with CNBC's Squawk Box program, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said he is a believer in cryptocurrency as an asset class, not a currency. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree with Max. Is Gary is Bitcoin's biatch, and he involuntarily approved the ETFs because his Bitcoin mine virus destroyed his brain, ultimately saying in so many words that he didn't have any choice but to approve it because not approving the Bitcoin ETF would have been too criminal, and Gary don't want to go to prison. So let me know your thoughts. What if Gary was actually trying to protect us? I'm not that stupid. No, but what if Huge dead bodies in the morgue, 1 times 21 mil. JV, kindly minimize pictures of Gensler. Much appreciated. You got it, Thomas. Yeah, so Gonzo BSV, the real Bitcoin. Come on. The SEC did not allow the ETF. They approved the ETP, exchange traded products. Sell your Vanguard and buy Bitcoin. Amen to that. Denny Howard, cheers. Gollum Gensler. Somehow Gary might be more dangerous. Went out of the SEC. Gensler put out see ya comments, but he'll soon accept a position at BlackRock when he exits the SEC. Yeah, these are just corrupt mofos. You already know. The courts twisted his arm and pulled his ears. Gary's in the club. That's right. There's a big club, and we're not in it. Quoting the late, great George Carlin. Gary needs to shave his eyebrows. Amen. Kind of looking like Pai Mei from Kill Bill. Is Bitcoin backed by anything? Yeah, it's backed by the most secure network to ever exist in human history, called the blockchain, which secures our data, which makes it priceless. Have me on the show. I'll tell you why I have no Bitcoin and I have all ish coins, says David Arnold. Sorry, not interested in hearing that, but kudos to you. Wish you a lot of success there. My my thinking is this. The more wealthy someone is, the more Bitcoin they're going to have in their portfolio. The least wealthy you are, the less Bitcoin you're going to have in your portfolio and the more ish coins you're going to have because you're more interested in gambling to try to become wealthy. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but I'd say I'm pretty safe at saying that's probably the majority of the people ish coining. They're not happy with their accumulation of wealth in life, and they're looking to get lucky, gambling in the casinos of crypto so they can hit it big. And maybe if they ever do, they'll capitulate and their portfolio will be swapped out with the majority of Bitcoin as the underlying asset. You know what I mean? Because no one with major amounts of wealth are going to be an ish coiner. It's just not going to happen, right? Unless you're the founder of the ish coin and you created it and you're literally printing money like Vitalik. Facts, says Todd. Chris says 100% JV. Right. Like if I was poor and had nothing, I'd probably have a lot of altcoins trying to come up, right? But I'm blessed to have something, and because of that, I'm majority Bitcoin, at least 99%, I would say. And someone like Max, who is more than likely a billionaire, of course he's going to be 100% Bitcoin. Why would he even care about the altcoins? Michael Saylor, same boat. And that's just my thinking and my logic. I can be wrong. Again, this is not a rule for everybody, but just generally speaking, the people I know, the people I've met, the more wealthy they are, the more amount of Bitcoin they hold. Example, Ricardo Salinas, the majority of his portfolio, Bitcoin. Third richest man in Mexico. Cathie Wood, everyone's favorite. She announced on TV the other day, over 25% of her net worth, Bitcoin. So go figure. Vitalik's mom even has her own coin now. That's what I hear, Adam. I got 2 million Bitcoin and 2 million in ish coins. Word, preach. Everything I do is to maximize my Bitcoin holdings. So could they try to block the Bitcoin ETFs? Just came in? No, it's already a done deal. But don't get me wrong, they're going to try everything to FUD Bitcoin to suppress the price and control it. Because that's what regulators do when they look at and perceive Bitcoin as undermining their US dollar. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? We now got 900 people on the stream. Let's get to 1,000, family. Pump the likes, pump the stream. Let's freaking go. Ishcoins only exist to gain on Bitcoin. That's why I have 25% in Ishcoins. Completely understand, Dirty. When I first got into crypto, I maybe had 20% of ish coins as well. And as time went on and my Bitcoin started growing up in value, maturing from $1,500 a Bitcoin to as high as $69,000, the majority of my portfolio went into Bitcoin. You know what I mean? BlackRock owns everything. What's your point? That's right. BlackRock owns, this is probably very conservative, at least 80% of the companies in the S&P 500, I've heard upwards of 90%. They have a piece of the pie on everything, every major corporation in there. Even MicroStrategy, they own roughly 9%. Standard Chartered Bank, they're the primary shareholder. Thank you for the response. Love your streams. Appreciate you, Gabriel. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, supporting the movement. Greatly appreciate y'all. Gold and silver are my ish coins. I like that, Chris. Cathie Wood makes my, oh no. Yesterday, it was kind of crazy with the Cathie Wood chatter with you guys. I can see the crypto broskies love Cathie Wood. D1M, I appreciate you subbing, family. Crypto News Alerts, what it do? Coin Father, where you been, brother? Miss ya. Good to see you. Let's rock, because there's only one period. Let's see what Michael Saylor has to say. Oh, wrong button.
Take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it.
Yeah, if you love the thing and you don't want to sell it, here's what Michael Saylor says to do.
Go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business, it's in your family for 37 years.
Yeah, Michael, what if you have a business and it's been in the family for 37 years and your family loves it? What should I do?
And you can't bear to sell it. Mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth, which is Bitcoin.
Keep pumping the likes, pumping the stream. Let's get to our next story of the day and discuss this $1.5 million price prediction from Cathie Wood. She was recently making the rounds, and she says with the launch of these ETFs, she is more optimistic that Bitcoin will hit her target of $1.5 million per coin. Here's the timeline. Here's the latest, and then we'll be discussing the latest interview from Max Keiser. He was just interviewed by Wired magazine. We'll be discussing Bitcoin confiscation and why these Bitcoin ETFs are not safe. So here we go. Let's first knock it out with everyone's favorite, Cathie Wood. Here you go. ARK Invest founder Cathie Wood says the massive price target for Bitcoin just became more likely with the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. In a new interview on CNBC, Wood says that ARK Invest's bull case prediction of Bitcoin reaching $1.5 million by 2030 is now more probable after the US SEC approved on Wednesdays their 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs. So thank you, Gary. We know you didn't want to approve it, but you were forced to, otherwise it'd look criminal, so kudos. Anyways, Cathie says our base case is in the $600,000 range. Our bull case, and we think the probability of the bull case has increased with this SEC approval. This is a green light. Our bull case is $1.5 million by 2030. You can see the price forecast building blocks on ARK Invest's website. You can see how conservative we are in terms of those building blocks. This is a big idea. It is the first global, decentralized, digital, rules-based, rules-based monetary system in history. It is a very big idea. Kudos to that. Now, as you can see here, this is published from ARK Invest, Cathie Wood's company. Bitcoin is likely to scale into a multi-trillion-dollar asset. ARK's research estimates the price of one Bitcoin will exceed 1 million by 2030. Here are the three targets outlined for you. We got the bear case, which would be 258,000. We have the base case, which is actually closer to 700,000, 282,000. And then we have the bull case, which is close to 1.5 million, 1.48 million to be exactly. Now, ARK Invest was one of the 11 spot Bitcoin ETF apps that the SEC had approved. The others include BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, VanEck, Bitwise, Franklin, Valkyrie, Hashdex, WisdomTree, and Invesco Galaxy. The spot Bitcoin ETFs create a monetary pipeline between Wall Street and Bitcoin by market cap. And to watch this interview she did in its entirety, check the show notes below the video in the description. So there you have it. What are your thoughts on her three case scenarios for 2030? Do you think we get the base case, the bear case, or the bull case? I'm going to go with the bull case because this is the most bullish channel in Bitcoin on the tube. Just saying, and for good reason. Snowden tried to warn us. Oh yeah, Snowden even threw Gary under the bus. I think he, for whatever reason, deleted the tweet, but I caught that initially when we got the approval. That was interesting. Actually, with his incompetence, back when Gary couldn't even, he's the chairman of the SEC. So for someone to have no freaking two-factor authenticator on the SEC official account, to me, it just tells me it was, an inside job. Trust nobody, verify everything. Cathie Wood may be the sexiest girl on Wall Street thus far. Y'all see young Cathie Wood? I shared some pictures of her young, maybe 30 years ago. Pretty smoking. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Shout out Crypto Kiwi, what it do? Smash the pump, smash the like to pump the stream. Appreciate it. Flip the switch. Bitcoin gains will pump into alts and XRP will moon, says Bobby Carter. Bitcoin is still a revolution. You already know. Bitcoin is a dying dragon. No, Bitcoin is a rising phoenix, big dog. I bite my lip and close my eyes to Cathie Wood, thinking of going in her... What? You guys are crazy, chat. Cathie is kind of hot, but don't forget Martha. Who's Martha? Martha Stewart? She's old school. That's my point. You sold Bitcoin for a little ETF, and it could have been a whole banking system. JV, do you have an idea what will happen to Bitcoin, why it's falling? It's correcting. It's doing what it does. Let's not forget the bigger picture. And shout out RV. I appreciate you subbing to the pod. Let's not forget the bigger picture. Bitcoin is still up over 150% for the past year. Sometimes you guys got to calm down and zoom out. You know what I mean? Let's not forget, roughly 36 hours ago, we hit a new 22-month high of 49,000. Anticipate massive volatility and swings at times like this. The market makers want to wreck the leveraged positions, and so does, you know what I mean, the people that control the markets. So I'd expect nothing less. I want to hug Cathie Wood, says Easy. XRP is a phoenix, says Bobby. Michelle McCory ain't bad. I've never heard of her. Cathie Wood pretends I am not alive. Dang it, you got to get her attention somehow. The only way you're going to get Cathie Wood's attention is you need to own like 100,000 Bitcoin like the Giga Chad. Martha's homesteading that value. You sold out Bitcoin. No, Bitcoin didn't sell out. I love you trolls in here. It makes the show entertaining, so keep trolling. Much love. What up, JV? Shout out to the Hodl King. I fooled someone into buying a physical Bitcoin metal coin for $600 in 2016. Word. You can buy those little Bitcoins on Amazon. You get like 3 for $10. I love what Bitcoin used to be, says David. Think it will bounce at 40,000? I don't think we touched 40, but hey, I'm no expert at TA. Dying, what the frick? It survived all financial strifes, and you probably laughed at the prospect of Bitcoin going. Here's why people hate Bitcoin. Because it's too expensive for them to become a whole coiner. And I know this from firsthand experience, just interviewing and asking people, right? So a lot of people get into crypto and they're like, oh, Bitcoin's 40,000. I can't even buy one coin. They have a big ego. And they're like, well, I could buy 10 billion XRP and I own 10 billion of them. I'm exaggerating clearly, but you see the point. Same with Doge and all these freaking sheebs, all these meme coins. It makes people feel good owning 1 billion of a token. Meanwhile, it make more logical sense just own a fraction of a bitty, right? Because one Bitcoin is divided by 100 million Satoshis. The average person doesn't even know they can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. That's how early we are. But I truly believe that. What do you guys think? Bitcoin is 75 Gs. I think Michelle Mockery's got a YouTube news channel. Like, oh, her. Yeah, okay, I see what you... Is she the blonde girl? Let me know, Jose. I know who you're talking about now. If I just never watched their channel, so I don't know their names. That camel toe pic of Cathie Wood. No. What? You guys are too much. Young Cathie gives me... Oh my, I can't even... I know this is a family-friendly show on YouTube, so I'm not going to read some of these comments, family. CryptoDad says, absolutely. We ain't touching 40 if we haven't already with today's dump. The trolls are losers. Why would I go to a site I think is a loser? I spend my time looking for the winner. Cheers, Emilio. Mohammed, like I mentioned before, the Allah candle isn't coming because of the ETF. It's coming because my cousins in Saudi. Shout out to Saudis. Shout out to Qatar. All my Middle Eastern folks out there. All my Muslims. Gensler used to teach at MIT. Incompetence, nah, it's cahoots. Amen. Well said, JNG. I second that 100,000%. But anyways, family, now for our feature story of the day. Here's the latest with Bitcoin. Wired Magazine actually just recently interviewed Max Keiser, and Max discusses why we won't touch these Bitcoin ETFs. Any Bitcoin purists won't touch these Bitcoin ETFs. He also says that the government will seize all Bitcoin, ETF Bitcoin, in the name of national security. So you have been warned. Here we go. Here's the latest from Max Keiser, as he tweeted here. The ETFs will have a mosquito effect, carrying the mind virus of Bitcoin far and wide. He also tweeted here, number 1, the government seizes the ETF for national security. Number 2, before they send you your USD. Number 3, price moves up $100,000. Number 4, you pay tax on the gain from the payout. And with what's left, you buy Bitcoin at the price of $100,000 per coin. higher. Number 5, the price crashes. And number 6, you're now sitting in a net losing position from where you started. That's right. He says you are not protected against government seizure, and the US government plans to seize all the Bitcoin ETF Bitcoin in the interest of national security. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that sentiment. Now, here's word for word transcribed for the interview he did with Wired magazine. I want to read this to you because it is very insightful, and shout out to the high priest. Here's the interview, word for word, what he had to share. A lot of good questions asked, so shout out to Wired magazine. So here you go. Let me just get right into the questions asked. So Max says, hi, Joel, sure, I'm doing this on my phone, yada, yada, yada. A quote of mine you see pop up on social media: you don't change Bitcoin, Bitcoin changes you. Preach. Keeping this in mind regarding your questions. Number 1, the mosquito effect. TradeFi is carrying the mind virus of Bitcoin far and wide, and this is the first time ever retail investors have front run Wall Street. So congratulations to all my Bitcoin hodlers that front ran Wall Street. Well done. Like Richard Dawkins, the selfish gene theory, the DNA, or basic unit of 1 Satoshi of Bitcoin, is working its way in the body and mind of our human economy and society with only one objective: eliminated the threat of fiat money and central banks. In other words, BlackRock is doing the work Bitcoin wants them to do. They are drones in this equation. Number 2, Bitcoin is proof of work, not proof of stake. So the incentive model is different than fiat money or altcoins or even gold. A concentration of Bitcoin gives the owner no ability to change Bitcoin. With fiat money, the more you have, the more ability and influence you have to change the laws in your favor. In light of this, concentration of Bitcoin poses no threat to Bitcoin whatsoever. Number 3, this gets back to the question. Game theory is playing out exactly as observers of Bitcoin have been predicting since inception. The ETFs are drones doing Satoshi's work. They are motivated by greed, but Bitcoin alchemically transforms greed into altruism via the Nakamoto consensus model, and we all benefit. Shout out to my Bitcoin alchemists out there, family. You know what I'm saying? Number 4, on the contrary, Bitcoin's ideological model is transforming the world. I see it happening firsthand in El Salvador, where we advised the President Bukele on the Bitcoin policy. That's right, Keiser is Bukele's right-hand man and senior Bitcoin advisor. The transformation going on here is remarkable. El Salvador has become the new shining city on the hill, the volcano in El Salvador. Now, they asked him a couple of follow-ups to clarify: do you think the ETFs are a helpful vehicle for spreading Bitcoin further afield, and that the upside is worth enough to offset the counterparty and seizure risks incurred by these new Bitcoin investors via the ETFs? So listen up. This is in regards to the seizure and confiscation of the Bitcoin ETF. Max responded, the seizure risk doesn't impact Bitcoin. It only impacts those foolish enough to ignore these risks. It doesn't concentrate power and influence because the underlying incentive model rejects centralization of all types. Bitcoin's path is unstoppable. It is designed as a fiat money and central bank killer. That's right. This is highly disruptive, and we'll see the global financial landscape change dramatically with many unexpected winners and losers. And with respect to the objective of eliminating the threat of fiat and central banks, are you not concerned that the ETFs will line the pockets of the kind of old school financial institutions emblematic of the fiat system? And continuing, the beauty of Bitcoin is that lining the pockets of bankers with fiat money whose purchasing power goes to zero against Bitcoin is beautifully aligned with the greater good. Lining these bankers' pockets with Bitcoin has no impact on Bitcoin or any negative impact on society at large, because Bitcoin is not proof of stake. That is, having lots of Bitcoin does not give anyone more power over the network. Now, you don't change Bitcoin, Bitcoin changes you. We are witnessing, thanks to Bitcoin, the failure of the 300-year experiment with central banks and fiat money. If you want to see where this goes, look to El Salvador. That has replaced the US as the moral and human rights standard bearer of the world. So there you have it, my crypto fam, coming directly from the high priest, Max Keiser. Let me know if you agree or disagree with his sentiment that they will seize the Bitcoin through the ETF. And speaking of that, I'm actually going to share a bonus tweet with you. This was just January 11th. Ali Bradley shared, breaking: the state of Texas has seized all city property along the riverfront at the border of the Eagle Pass area under governor's emergency powers. It's called eminent domain. I know that. I used to be a real estate appraiser. That means the government has the power to seize your real estate for the best interest of the state or the government. And it happens all the freaking time, including federal processing locations and equipment. This is according to multiple sources. All access to the property is limited to state authority only. Border Patrol will be permitted to enter the property to remove their equipment and supplies. Agents will not have access to the area unless there is medical emergency. I am told that the state plans to start arresting all who cross for criminal trespass. This is not under new illegal entry law, SB4. They have been arresting for criminal trespass for months. And here's the official statement. Texas is holding the line at our southern border with miles of additional razor wire and anti-climb barriers to deter the record high levels of illegal immigration invited by President Biden's reckless open border policies. It's all by design, family. Alex Jones has been blowing the whistle on this. Make sure you're following him, because child trafficking is a real deal and the government perpetuates it. Yes, I said it. The Biden administration allows unfettered access for Mexican cartels to smuggle people into our country. This is fact. Texas will continue to deploy Texas National Guard soldiers, yada, yada, yada. So here's what Max wrote in response to this tweet. And you don't think the government will seize Bitcoin held in Bitcoin ETFs? Brother, please. Broski, please. What do you think regarding all of this? Let me know, crypto fam, and I'll read your comments out loud. And I greatly appreciate everyone's support. Pump the likes, pump the stream, and let's freaking go. Eminent domain is a nightmare when they take your beachfront property and sell it. That's right, because you may not even get the true market value. You have no say. They give you what they want to give you for it, but they're supposed to give you the market value. But sometimes a property could be a one of one, and you can't compare it to anything else. Gotta pee a lot. What it do? Preach, mofo. Appreciate your family. Thanks for the super. Took government Abbott long enough. Rumble consent bussin'. If you're not gonna call me, at least out of respect, don't talk trash on the back phone of our tech. Don't even know what you're talking about. Thing a lot don't realize is Bitcoin has proved itself closer for 15 years, and now big finance has taken notice. People are talking a lot of FUD and expecting major moves upwards immediately. Send it, Matt. So again, I'm gonna reiterate. Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETF are completely two different things. A Bitcoin ETF does not equal Bitcoin. Bitcoin ETF equals Coinbase holding your Bitcoin. If it's not your keys, it's not your coins, not your keys, not your cheese. You already know. So broskies, please remove your crypto off the exchanges. Learn how to self-custody successful. And note that there is a difference between Bitcoin and a Bitcoin ETF. And with that being shared, I think my mission is done. Let's do some Q&A. Alex can see the future in a world without Alex. He is talking to the dying plans of a civilization, but it doesn't need to be that way. Amen, Foxbase. Teacher Beta, please, please. Max is always right. That's right. Shout out to the high priest. Indeed, let's wait a bit. Having coming in approximately 100 days. Good year for Bitcoin. That's right. All-time high, 100% this year. 100,000 Bitcoin, easy peasy. If you agree, we'll get a $100,000 Bitcoin before the end of this year. Put a 1 in the live chat. If you think no 100K Bitcoin this year in 2024, put a 2. Let's gauge the sentiment. Let's go. I appreciate that super. Vibing with Ja Digital, what it do? My optimism and helium holding my portfolio. Let's go. Welcome, Gem Gem. A hammer, your summation of Bitcoin needs improvement. Lost 66K in Voyager. Sorry to hear that, Bobby Digi. Sell or buy? Buy always if it's Bitcoin. Sell alts, buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin. 75, ICP to 50, guarantee, insta-la. There we go. Buy the dip, dudes. 111. You guys are pretty confident we're going to see 100 G's this year. One's in the chat. Let's get this chat lit. Pump the likes, pump the streams. I appreciate it, family. Thoughts on XAI? Never heard of it. 80,000 maybe, says Gem Gem. New all-time high, price discovery mode. Send it. 2, but wishing for 1. Bobby Digi, 1.5% day trade is up, then run away. I put a 2 because I'm always wrong. At least you're keeping it real. 2, 1, Texas Champ, put a 1. What up, fam? Another great show, JV. Cheers. Brandon, let's go. Shout out Raziel 0. What it do? We headed to 10. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell nah. How dare you? Bitcoin was the first and still the most secure Bitcoin tech that will be built. 100%. Emilio, preach. Tell him. Get him. Not your keys, not your cheese. I wish Fink would just tell us what the price is going to be. Well, welcome, Jack. Thanks for the sub. I appreciate all the subs. Confident. You forgot 0. Buy 1. Don't be stupid. They're taking it all. Well, they can't take it out of the hands of the long-term hodlers unwilling to sell that have it in self-custody. Government can only seize the crypto or Bitcoin in the name of national security that is on the exchanges. All they got to do is send a letter to Coinbase. Gone. Give it to me. It's in the best interest of national security. That's my Gary Gensler impersonation. Freaking spot ain't helping. We down. Well, look at it as a great opportunity. What's the silver lining? You get to buy the dip at a discount. I love the trolls. Me too. Makes the show entertaining. Love the show. Thank you, Jock. Keep Bitcoin on ice. Bitcoin is a community and a movement. If you see it as an asset, you haven't looked for long enough. Well said, Fox Space Delta. Alex, when Lambo? Great question. You tell me. What price does Bitcoin need to be at for you to buy a Lambo? And would you really trade your Bitcoin at that high price we're speculating to buy a Lambo? Considering Lambos aren't going to always go up in value, Bitcoin will. Next target, 20 to 30 G's for BTC. Oh, hell no. More active fluidity with liquid access. Trollers, smash that like button, please. I appreciate it. Every like counts, even the trolls. Take it out of Coinbase. Cheers. Gary Gensler made $1 million on that short. He opened at 49. Probably made 100 mil for all we know. I would never sell my Bitcoin until the end of my retirement. And at that time, I don't think you're going to sell it. I don't think you're going to want the fiat. I think you're going to borrow against it to just buy the things you need. The dark side clouds everything. Impossible to see the future. Cheers, fam. I wanted a Lambo until I could afford it. Now I don't want it. I feel you, big dog. I feel you. 5-0 for Dirty Gart. Does that mean Gensler? What's Gart? Wealth Ranger, spot on. 90 to 100,000 this year. Send it, Ellen. Good to see you. How you been? When you see stacks, sats every day, who cares what or why? Waste of time. Do something for humankind, not Lambo. There you go. Build some wells out in Africa with Mr. Beast. Lambo gets the girls, but girls get me in debt, and girls lead you to trouble. Keeping it 100. Keeping it 100 for the broskies. Lamborghini, if Thousand Oaks sold one for 200 BTC 3 to 4 years ago. How do I borrow against my Bitcoin? Right now, there's decentralized protocols such as Aave. You could borrow against your Bitcoin. Eventually, every major banking institution will allow it because it's pristine collateral and they're all going to want to hold your Bitcoin. I actually borrowed against my Bitcoin with BlockFi before they went under and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And that's actually how I bought this house. Cheers, Anjos. I appreciate you subbing to the pod family. I've been thinking about how I can work for the community. If bills weren't a thing, right on. I think a great way is creating a podcast, or if you don't want to create your own pod and preach the holy gospel of Satoshi, support your boy. I'm here every day for the past 5 years. All you got to do is share the stream. That's the greatest support you can do is pump the likes and share this. You know what I mean? Connect in our Discord, connect on X, connect on Rumble, and support the family. In a bit, we're going to be doing a JV Reacts uncensored version of the show exclusively on Rumble. I'm going to be reacting to the new Jack Mahlers, the new Larry Fink, and there's 2 other videos we're going to be reacting to. So make sure you're following me on Rumble. Shout out to Crypto Butler. Appreciate you subbing to #1 Daily Bitcoin Pod. That's why you have a dog, because it's more loyal than girls. The #1 quality I value as a man, loyalty. And you are correct. That's why dog is man's best friend and vice versa. Fact. What up, Mike's Locks Life? They all want your precious biddies. Don't give it to them. Preach. Girls are loyal to money. Emilio. Now, I know there's some outliers out there, so this doesn't go for all girls, so don't twist my words and call me a misogynist. I'm not a misogynist, but most women are loyal to other things besides their men. I'll just leave it at that if we want to keep it 100. Most, not all. There's the clarity. It's all over now, Bitcoin. It's going to be destroyed from the inside out. Listen to Gary G. You can get a free copy of The Financial Whiz on the new book from David Webb, The Great Taking, to know what will happen. Appreciate that insight, Ellen. Shout out to Ellen. Foxbase, the more I get to know people, the more I love my dog. Amen. Bitcoin as money is what we need, not Bitcoin as an investment asset. It's what makes the exchange not for investment. Only don't forget it to start using it. Hey everyone, how about donations and those in need of hospitals? I will give it away if it hits big. Donations are great. I just made a $10,000 donation to Lily's Angels, a local charity here for children with Down syndrome. If only Gary had that level of clarity. Yeah, no Claire Gare. Threesome of the year, Gary, Schiff, and Kramer. Ugh. Nuck Chorus in the building. What it do, Nuck? Most of the women in the States, but not in the other countries. Agree. It's worse in the States. I agree. I've been to 30 different countries at least, and I've lived all over the world. And I will say they're very loyal in Asia. So I agree. In Asia, you get some very loyal women. Yeah, they want all your money. Confident. JV, the moon. Boy oscillator to the extremes. Good to see you, JV. I missed you. I appreciate it, Ellen. Thanks for coming back. It's been a minute. Helen and Ellen are like the two OGs of the channel. As far as women, this woman is only focused on generational wealth for my kids. Shout out to May 5-star. I know you're a different breed if you're tuned into the channel with the broskies. You already know. Bitcoiner women are just different. You got to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Cathie Wood. Shout out to, what's her name? Man, there's so many women, but they just slipped my mind all of a sudden. Who I think, Natalie Burnell, I'm a huge fan. Tanisha Starks, thank you. Shout out to all the powerful Bitcoin women in the chat. Asians are very loyal, but best be on point. Not in Thailand, says Azul. Man, I love Thailand. One of my favorite places. Alex Montiel, thank you for subbing, family. #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Lambo's only short-term freedom is forever. It's going up forever, Laura. I need a loyal woman. Hard to find. Shout out to me. Yes. JV, don't take praise and don't take blame. Just continue to play your game. Great job, man. Appreciate it, stress-free. My wife is loyal, been married for 42 years through thick and thin. More power to you. I respect that tremendously. Someone wants to come for the holidays. I accept crypto payments. Place to be. Where is that? Zanzibar. Where's Zanzibar, family? Is that in the Middle East? 100% Muhammad. Shout out Muhammad. We need that Saudi money already. Shout out Jennifer. Shout out to Mia. I think the women base here is growing. I'd say last I checked a few months ago, we had roughly 93% broskies and 7% siskies. And hopefully these women are growing in the crypto space. Savvy, business savvy Bitcoin women here. Bango, what it do? How much would a Cathie Wood chuck if a... I've been married to a Japanese woman for 23 years. They're amazing. Loyalty. Would never look at Euro women or American women. Too competitive. More power to you, Kiwi. You got yourself a keeper, it sounds like. By Tanzania. Thank you, 100x leverage. Generation X women are more loyal than these young things. First time here. Welcome, Tanisha. I appreciate you subbing to the pod. Hope to see you tomorrow. We're live every day. Tomorrow we'll be live again, 3 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be live again tonight at 9 p.m. So come back. And we're about to end the YouTube stream, family. For those who don't know, and this is your first experience here, first and foremost, make sure to smash the like and pump the stream and subscribe to the channel so you get notifications whenever I go live. But if you don't know, I stream simultaneously every day on YouTube and Rumble at the same time, meaning not only am I live on YouTube right now, I'm live on Rumble. The YouTube stream is going to end in a bit. Shout out Azul. I appreciate the sub. And when the YouTube stream ends, we continue with the uncensored version of the show, exclusive on Rumble. So you gotta follow me on Rumble if you're unfamiliar with it. It's ultimately a video community that respects the First Amendment and they allow freedom of speech. I gotta be very careful on some of the topics I talk about on YouTube because it's heavily censored. Google is a gatekeeper of the truth. If you don't know, now you know. And JV has even been terminated and shadow banned for years for speaking the truth. And
but they can't kill me. I'm like a roach. I keep coming back. But long story short, if something were to ever happen to the channel again, at least we have an uncensored platform that respects free speech over on Rumble. And for that reason, I encourage you to head on over to Rumble right now for the uncensored version of Crypto News Alerts. It's going to be lit. JV React session like no other. Thank you, YouTube. But head on over to Rumble right now and let's get this mofo party started, shall we? Cheers and deuces to the tube. And there you have it. The